So, Callum, first question. 22-month layoff. How has the time been during your layoff, and what have you been doing in the meantime?
I say a layoff. I've not really had a layoff. Obviously, I've not fought, but
Yeah.
I've, 2020, I'd never, ever lived my life so dedicated to the sport. I trained probably harder than I've ever trained. I ate better than I've ever eaten. I was living my life better than I've ever lived. I say so. I feel though the layoff, especially through 2020, made me a better athlete. But now, obviously, it's been a long time out of the ring, so I do need to get moving, sharpish. So yeah. But yeah, the layoff in terms of the training things and everything else, I feel like it's improved me as an athlete.
Do you think maybe the term I've just used, layoff, is maybe circumstantial as a result of 2020 and all the difficulties it's brought, type of thing?
Yeah, that's it. As I say, yeah. Obviously, I've not fought, but as I say, I've been working on myself. I've been working, in the gym, and as I say, I got to levels just before Christmas that I've never ever been to before. So hopefully I can get to them levels again, which I will do. I had a few weeks off over Christmas, but I'll get to them levels again, and hopefully this year I can show it in the ring.
Yeah. And let's just talk for a minute about your last fight. March 2019, you scored a third round knockout over Seanie Monaghan over in the States. How happy were you with that performance?
Yeah, I was happy. I was happy with the performance. I thought it was a good performance. And it was good that a lot of people were seeing it as a tough test for me.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of people calling it a 50-50 fight. It was going to be a real test for me to see how good he is and things like that. So I went in there and I made easy work of it. I don't like to say disrespect too much or not, because he's a real nice kid and he's actually like a friend. He's like a boxing friend of mine now. But it is what it was. It was a demolition job, really. It was a good performance, but yeah, I was happy. But it wasn't anything I didn't expect anyway. Do you know what I mean? I expected to do that. Just a lot of people never actually expected me to do it that easy. But like I say, me and Joe, say we knew. You never do know, but we expected us to do it that easy. Do you know what I mean?
It was a bit of a strange narrative. I thought the fact that people were saying that was a 50-50 fight. I don't think Monaghan's to be overlooked, but I thought that you were the clear favourite, if you want my honest opinion.
Yeah. I think, like I say, everyone had me as favourite. I think they was expecting him to give me a little bit more of a test than he did. So.
Yeah. And perhaps maybe them reasons why they thought it was a closer fight would have been the fight previous, the IBF light heavyweight title fight against Artur Beterbiev. Looking back now, nearly 2.5 years have passed since that fight. How do you look back on that fight?
It is what it is. It was what it was. Maybe the shot come a little bit too soon for me. But I'd had inactivity before then, and I got the shot. I took the shot, because I genuinely believed I could pull it off. I had my moments. It nearly paid off for me, but it never. And I do believe it made me a better fighter, mentally and physically. I believe it showed in my next fight, and then again, it just unlucky things happening again, which has kept me out of the ring again. But I think the experience of the Beterbiev fight has made me a better fighter. As I say again, I'm repeating myself, but mentally as well. Yeah. Could it have maybe come after another fight, or another 2 fights? Maybe, but it is, hindsight's a beautiful thing, and we rolled the dice, and it didn't quite pay off for us.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would argue that you're one of only 2 men to give Beterbiev problems. I would argue that obviously yourself, and then his unification fight against how do you say it?
Vojdik, something like that. But again, Vojdik causing problems, but he was always in control. I felt like he was always in control, and he never looked uncomfortable at any time in that fight. He took shots and he lost rounds, but I think it was more of a case of him just breaking him down. you know, there's times in the fight against me, he looked uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting close to him. He was holding me. You know, every chance he got, he was holding me when I was getting close, and I was putting him in uncomfortable places that he'd probably never been before. But at the same time, you know, he's a fighter. He is, and you know, he got me out of there. So, you know, fair play to him. He is one of the pound for pound best fighters. And I think also, I don't think people really gave me the credit when I boxed him, and I don't think they really gave him the credit of how good he actually was until, like say, more recent, when they've realised actually what a beast he is and how good he actually is, and then they've sort of gave me a little bit more credit further down the line for it, if you like.
Yeah, I think sometimes people try and compare him because of his power a little bit too much to someone like a Deontay Wilder, but he's a much better boxer, isn't he?
You don't win World Amateur Championship gold medals if you can't box a little bit, do you? Do you know what I mean? 100%. It's an impossible thing. So,
well, let's move from past to future. In an ideal world, what do you want next? What would you like your next fight to be?
Ideal world, well, not really, because obviously I'd like a nice tune-up fight, you know, that's a pretty tough test, and then jumping for a world title, obviously, in an ideal world. But we don't live in an ideal world, do we? But like I say, I'm not really too much thinking about this or that. All I'm concentrating on is myself and my training, and I leave that down to Joe. And you know, it'll be what it'll be. You know, my main goal at the minute is just getting myself back in shape. You know, when I say back in shape, I'm in shape anyway. But you know, just getting back to that fitness where, you know, I get a phone call and I can be ready to go in a week or two. Yeah. You know, and I need another 3 or 4 weeks, and I think I'll be there. So my main goal at the minute is just getting myself in fight shape, and then it'll be what it'll be. I've stopped worrying about it because I've been worrying about it for the last 18 months, and nothing's happened. Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm pretty sure that something will happen this year.
And one thing that I would say about the light heavyweight division, more than other divisions, is it seems pretty packed at the top end with big British talent, such as yourself, such as names like Joshua Buatsi, Lyndon, Artur, Anthony Yarde. I believe Craig Richards is now in the top 10 of one of the, I believe he's in the top 10 of the WBA rankings. So we have a lot of British talent there now. Do any of them names interest you at all? I know you've had the back and forth with Buatsi, of course.
They all interest me, every one of them. Like you say, I would jump in the ring with any one of them next. Genuinely would. Obviously, it has to sort of make sense, doesn't it? And or not so much make sense. It all makes sense, but it has to be like right deals and things like that. But you know, I'm open to fight any of them, whenever, wherever, if I'm sort of give a fair deal. But again, I'm not worrying about it. I'll leave it to Joe. Joe knows I'll fight anybody. Just get myself fit, so I'm ready to go when I do get the call.
Yeah. And one name that we've both talked about off camera, and there's been a few clips back and forth, is current title challenger Joe Smith Jr. If that fight was first of all, do you think Joe will win the title on February the 13th?
I hope so. Because one, you know, I actually like him. I'm a fan. I'm actually a fan of his story, and you know, he beat Bernard Hopkins. You know, he's been the man that's kind of, you know, over in America, he's like just a normal kid off the street that's worked the building sites, and he's grafted hard, and he's worked his way up the ranks, and he's done well for himself. So I hope he wins. I've never seen the kid he's fighting. I've never ever seen him, so I can't comment whether I think he'll win or he won't. But you got to give him a shout because he's a top fighter. You know, you got to give him a shout against anybody. So yeah, I think he could win, and I hope he does, because that is a fight that does excite me as well. And I've seen a lot of people on social media talking about the clash of styles, and like I say, people always say if me and him fought, it's guaranteed war, it's guaranteed knockout, and there's a lot of people that I think that's a genuine 50-50 fight on paper, people's opinions, everything. So that does interest me, and that's the kind of fight I'm aiming to get to. You know, obviously I need a fight or two to get back in and sort of show get my name back out there and put myself in that position. But that's the kind of thing I'm aiming towards.
Yeah, I think that I feel like sometimes that term is overused about it's going to be a guaranteed fireworks or it's going to be a guaranteed great fight. But with used to, I don't see how it can't be. You both bring it. You both come to fight. You both aren't scared to back down. I don't see how it can't be a good fight. If that makes sense.
No, like I say, but I would actually hope it wasn't as good as fight as what people expecting, because they're all right while you're watching, but they're not so good when you're involved in them, are they? But no, you know, I'm always involved in good fights, whether they've lasted 1 round, 9 rounds, 3 rounds, or whatever. I'm always in exciting fights because that's me. You know, I come to fight, I can't help it. You know, I get excited and I just let bombs go. And you know, obviously, I know I've got the power to hurt people. So I know I've always got a chance of knocking anybody out, and that's what, you know, I go in there to do. My main goal when I'm in the boxing ring is to knock the kid out, you know, and I don't really hang about too much if I can help it.
Yeah, and it's nice as well. I feel like Smith turned a corner in his last fight when he beat Alvarez. I feel like that was his. I know obviously he had the Bernard Hopkins win, but that was Hopkins in his. I think he retired after that fight, didn't he, Hopkins?
I think he did, yeah. I think that was his last fight, wasn't it? Yeah.
I feel like the Alvarez fight was his first elite win with a fighter in his prime.
Yeah, defo. I think he had a good one against, what's his name? Jamel Herring, no. What's his name? Hart, innit? Jesse Hart.
Jesse Hart, yeah.
Right. Jamel Herring's a featherweight, isn't he?
Jamel Herring's fighting Frampton.
Yeah. Jesse Hart, he had a good one against Jesse Hart, who was a former world title challenger. Like you say, he got beat against Sullivan Barrera. So yeah, like you say, it was like his breakout win. So like you say, I think me and him are kind of, we've both had a similar. He's had a far better career than me. I don't mean in that sense, but I'm on about in terms of our wins and things like that. He's probably had a better win now with Alvarez, but before the Alvarez win, we had similar like levels of wins and fights and things like that. So I just think it's a good fight, you know, for everybody involved.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Now you'll be 36 this year, Callum. Do you feel like you need to hurry up and maybe get a little bit busy, if you like, for lack of a better phrase, in this latter stage of your career?
Of course. I mean, even if I was 23, I feel like I needed to get busier, obviously. But at the same time, I don't feel like there's no miles on the clock.
Yeah.
My training, as I say, 6 weeks ago before Christmas, before start of December, I caught COVID start of December, so I had a couple of weeks out then. But up until then, I was genuinely fitter, stronger than I've ever been. All my PBs, I was lifting more, I was getting quicker times. You know, everything. I'd never been so good. So, you know, I feel like I'm in my physical prime now. And yeah, I mean, how long is it going to last? I don't know. You know, because you can't beat age. It don't matter who you are. You can't beat age unless you say you are someone like Bernard Hopkins who went on till he was about 106. But yeah, I mean, as it stands, I'm physically at my best. You know, how long will it stay? How long can I keep it? Time will tell.
Yeah. And one thing that will help that, though, is that the gym that you're at, or your primary gym that you train at, Joe Gallagher's Academy, you're actually my third fighter from Joe's gym now. I've had Natasha Jonas and I've had Paul Butler. You're now my third. How much of a benefit is it training out of that gym with the quality, both in training and in sparring partner, etc.?
It's like you say, that brings the best out of you as well, because you say you've got top sparring. You know, I'm sparring with like Jose Burton, Callum Smith, Liam Smith, even, you know, Marcus Morrison, and then you bring sparring partner in. So you've got great sparring. You're training around all these great fighters. You're pushing yourselves, you know, to stay with each other as well when you're training, you know, because you don't want to be flagging and becoming second in a training session. You're trying to outdo each other, if you like, you know what I mean? And it brings you on and it pushes you, and that's what keeps you at that level and gets you to that level of conditioning.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of quality out of that gym. I feel like in the last couple of years, it's really started to get the recognition it deserves, to be honest.
Yeah, like I say, I think because you think about it, for the last 10 years, you know, from back, like say, Macklin back fighting Sturm, European champion. You had John Murray, European champion. You've had Paul Smith. You know, for the last 10 years, really, it's had a lot of success. And Joe's, you know, he held the record for the most wins as a coach, and then he broke his own record. You know, so I do feel as though probably not got the recognition as deserved over the years. But as you say now, you know, Joe's won the Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year twice. So it's you know, it's renowned. It's a Gallaghers Gym's actually not just famous in Britain, but it's kind of famous around the world boxing scene now as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. My penultimate question to you today, Callum: when do you want to get back in the ring? When is an ideal time frame for you?
As soon as possible, really. But obviously, I need to get myself ready again. You know, 3 or 4 weeks, I'd be ready, I think. But like I say, my initial thing is to get myself fit, get myself ready, and then, you know, then I'll be saying to Joe, "Come on, let's get something. Let's see where we are." Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like March ideally, March, April, I don't know, whatever it'll be. You know.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. And my final question: I want to trial a new segment with you. You're going to be my first fighter to do this segment. Are you happy to do this?
Yeah, go on.
It's a segment called Up and Down, right? And I feel like it applies to you better than anybody. The basic premise is you're not allowed to pick a fight. I want you to pick a fighter that you think stylistically would just be an absolute tear up between you and them. But the caveat is it can't be anyone in your division or the division, one division higher or lower than you. So it can't be anyone super middle, cruiserweight or light heavyweight. Obviously, pound for pound.
You do realise I don't watch a lot of boxing, don't you?
Oh, okay. Well, just someone that comes to mind then.
Rocky Balboa. me and Rocky would have been a good one.
Yeah.
No, I don't. You know what? I don't know. Marcus Maidana.
That would
be. I think we'd have tear lumps out of each other.
Yeah. The one that came to mind for me would have been Del Boy.
Who?
Derek
Chisora. Yeah. Similar to Maidana, isn't it? But yeah, he's probably, I'd say Maidana's obviously probably a better version. Obviously, little, but yeah, that kind of fighter, you know.
That would be him. That in my imagination, Callum Johnson standing across the ring from the same size Marcus Maidana would be superb.
The lights are going off here on off here. See that?
I think that's our cue to end. So we'll wrap up now. Thank you for coming on. It was an absolute honour to speak to you this afternoon.
Nice one. Thank you.
And when you get your next fight book, I'll get back in touch and we'll do something similar.
Nice one.
Before we finish, Callum, how can people find you on social media?
My Twitter and Instagram's @Callum_the_one. That's it really. Got my Facebook page, Callum the One Johnson. I don't use it that much, but yeah, Instagram's my main one really. That I'm an Instagram addict. I must post about 10 times a day on there. But yeah, Instagram's my main one, @Callum the One.
Superb. And before we finish, anything you'd like to sign off by saying at all?
Just thanks for listening. Thanks for keep looking out for fight news, and when I'm back, I plan on exciting.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Thank you for your time this afternoon, Callum.
Cheers, Michael.